And we are aired on Tuesday afternoons at 5 and again on Thursday mornings at 8:30. So we are here today. I'm your host, Ilya Kavukis, my wonderful, extraordinary, inspirational guest, Joan Mathews. And we're talking about her counseling work that she does at her center in Sutton. I love the idea of you working with people and helping. That is one of my quests in life, and one of my missions is service to others. I didn't know how strong it was until I actually started working with people in my massage practice and whatnot. And it's very fulfilling, more than the cash at the end of the session or a check or whatever. It's so fulfilling. So let's keep talking about your work with counseling your clients and the non-traditional way you work. And
well, I think, as I say, back in the flower children days, whatever, I thought I knew everything, and I explored every other reality possible, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know if this is a fact, or it doesn't matter to me anymore. But I have incarnated in this lifetime with a tremendous empathy, if you will, for suffering, whether it's animals or people or the planet. And one of the things that helped me enormously in my counseling that I learned was I was watching a documentary on the peacekeepers, and they're led by Buddhist Roshi Glassman, Bernie Glassman. And he spoke about the Auschwitz camps and how, particularly in the children's section, there was still an atmosphere of vibration and energy of horrifying fear and suffering. And that some of the children's souls, if you will, were still captured there because they couldn't leave. So he took people every November and to meditate for, I can't remember how long, I think it was about 10 days or so.
At the camp? At the camp?
Yes.
Okay.
And I thought, I got to go. And the amazing, magnificent, and I'm eternally grateful for how things happened for me. A friend who has a great deal of money, I said, I'm going to go to Poland. He said, well, here's the money for the airfare. So, again,
another gift.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I went, and it was an extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary experience, because why I include this in my counseling was I realized the depth of suffering that people can experience, and I do not on any level wish to undermine or equate my own visiting the camp to the people who were actually there. But sitting on the tracks and reading the names, etc., in my gut, I just felt the level of our belief system that I'm right and you're wrong, and our belief system of duality, there's me and there's you.
Separateness.
Yes, separateness, and not the us understanding, how deep and profound that can be. And the beauty of being there was my roommates were two German women. And we would have such marvelous discussions in their broken English and my total inability with any German. But it was an experience that deepened.
Transcended.
Yes, and deepened my capacity, if you will, to listen to people and know that if someone is suffering in a marriage, that for them, that is a profound suffering.
Yep.
And for me not to judge it. So it's just a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. And for whatever reason, again, I choose solitude. I'm not a social person. And So this is my way of connecting with people. And that's a very selfish motivation, but it works both ways.
Oh, absolutely.
I learn from them and they learn from me. And then I can go into the house and sit down and be alone, except for my 2 cats who sit on my lap. Well,
That's really interesting. I never would have thought you're a solitary person. I feel that whenever I see you either at your center or in the village, you're having lunch with somebody, often a man, I might add. Either at the song circle, you come to the center and we sing together. I find you very social. I guess there's another side of you that's just as strong, or if not stronger.
very much so. It's that I always have been, and a wonderful, well, that cult, that group that I belong to, the leader helped me enormously by giving me a reading saying, we see you going to parties, we see you laughing and being socially active, but at the root, you're shy and you're scared in those situations. Why do you do it? And so I had permission to not do it. So I don't go to parties. And the Song Circle is the first gathering I've been to that is outside of, and I've loved it.
Oh, yes, yes.
And
it's
one-on-one, I love.
Yes, yes.
But going to a party where you stand and you have your drink and I haven't a clue what to say. After I've said, hello, how are you?
Yeah, no, you don't
Then
like
what?
small talk.
No, I don't know how to do it at all.
That's all right. That's all right. Allow me to just let our listeners know that they're listening to CIDI 99.1 FM, the Alternatives radio show here at our community radio station. And my wonderful guest, Joan Mathews, talking about her counseling work with her wonderful stories peppered in to keep us hanging at the edge of our seats. So tell me, what, besides you're doing, okay, so you do one-on-one, you do counseling work. I know you also go to the local prison here in the townships.
Actually, that is over because the prison, back several years ago, decided that they would not have anybody coming in from the outside. They just simply stopped.
No kidding.
Those programs. And I said I'd love, because I had been paid for it, but I said I'd love to volunteer, but they said
Not even.
no. So that was, but I do want to, another little story, if I may. I want to tell you of a inspiration, and I can't remember his name, which is not very helpful.
Maybe it'll come to you.
Yeah, possibly, but I doubt it. Anyway, I had read many, many books back in the early 90s by a yoga teacher, a male, from Europe. And in 1997, a woman came from New Zealand visiting somebody in Sutton. She came to the center and took some classes with me. And then I was invited to New Zealand to co-chair, if you will, the International Yoga Teachers Convention with this hero that I had been reading his books. And the enormous inspiration was that when I got there, I had no idea. He was a man of probably my age now. He was entering his 80s. He couldn't move anymore, so he sat in a chair. And we were on the stage, and then there was about 200 people. And he directed the yoga postures from sitting in a chair and not being able to do it. And everybody was just entranced by what his ability was.
Amazing.
So it was such an inspiration for me because, of course, I was going to stop teaching yoga when